5 can find this masterclass very helpful. Even the parents and teachers who have got their children in these grades would find it really very helpful. So please do gear up yourself by grabbing a pen and a notebook, because we'll be starting with the session soon. And before we begin with the session, let me just quickly introduce myself. This is Neha Chauhan here. I am the teacher expert at Cuemath, and I have a teaching experience of more than 3 years. The subjects that I primarily teach are mathematics and reasoning, and the students that we cater to are Indian students and the US students. So now we'll be beginning with the masterclass. So as I said, please gear up yourself with a pen and a notebook so that you can take down all the important points from the masterclass. So here we start with our today's Olympiad level masterclass on patterns. The first thing that we will have is the table of contents, so that we know what exactly are we going to cover in today's session. So we'll first be understanding the whole concept of what patterns is. Then we'll see some applications in our day-to-day lives, so that students who are so young, who are in grade 1 till grade 4, can actually relate to where exactly patterns is applicable. We'll see some objectives which will define our problems, questions, the types of questions that we have. Then we'll be working out on those problems, some basic level problems and some good, interesting, engaging, advanced level problems. And finally, we'll take away with our learning outcomes, that is, what all have you learned in today's masterclass. So here we begin with the first part of it, which is the definition or the understanding of patterns. Now, what exactly a pattern is? A pattern is a series or a sequence that repeats. It keeps on repeating itself. So anything which repeats itself in a particular fashion, in a particular manner, after regular intervals of time, after regular gaps, is called as a pattern or a series. Now, when we come to maths, math patterns are sequences that repeat themselves based on a mathematical rule. That is, it could be any rule, a combination of mathematical operators, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. They form a formula or rule out of those, and they apply it, based on which the sequence keeps repeating itself. The pattern keeps repeating itself. So math patterns are sequences that repeat based on a rule, and the rule is a set way to calculate or solve a problem. So I'll repeat what I have explained you what a pattern is. So a pattern in general is a series or a sequence which keeps on repeating itself in regular intervals or gaps. Now, this is in general, but when we come to maths, it is based on a particular rule or a formula based on which the numbers or the mathematical pattern keeps on repeating itself. So in most of the questions, either we have to decipher or we have to try to understand what that formula is, what that calculation is, based on which the whole pattern is based on, so that we are able to solve it. And sometimes what we need to do is we need to find out the missing parts in the pattern which is given, the mathematical pattern which is given. And so we keep on solving questions based on patterns this way. So I hope you all are clear with what patterns are, and in particular to math, what patterns are and how they are formed. So going on to the next part, which is the application, so that children do get a relevance of it and importance of it. So the first bullet point, as you all can see, it says, the logic patterns help us classify similar objects, while number patterns help us predict a sequence. So logic patterns are basically, as it says, would help us classify how certain objects are similar to one another, and they might be not similar to the other set of objects. So it logically enables a child to differentiate that way. And it's very, very important for any child to make observations. Based on that observation, make some deductions and identify how two different things are different. What is the underlying criteria which is making them different? So that helps us build on that. But when we come to number patterns, it helps us to predict a sequence. That is, what that formula is, what that particular formula is based on which this whole sequence is based, this whole pattern is based, so that we can, try to figure out what could be the next set of terms. Coming to the second bullet point, it says word pattern help children make sense of language and serve as a strategy for spelling. So word patterns, as it says, would help them understand, because these are very young children and they are in primary stage of learning a new language. It could be English, Hindi, any regional language. So they learn these patterns, and that helps them to understand and to learn a new language. And as it says, it also serves as a strategy for spelling, to spell different words out. And then we see patterns in our day-to-day life in a lot of places. Like we see patterns, sequences, designs which are based on patterns in a lot of architecture. That is, you can see in some historical monuments, you could see that in a lot of temples, and a lot of new buildings that we see today. They're all based on a different type of pattern, which creates visual effects on the observer. So these were some of the applications that we have with patterns, so that you can actually tell the children how they are related and how they are important. So now that we have learned what the applications are, we'll go on to the objectives, which will set what sort of questions we would be solving in today's masterclass. So the first one is, find the missing term or the next term in a number or letter series to continue the given series in a certain pattern. So as I've already discussed that, what will happen is you'll have a series in front of you in which some of the terms would be missing, or the next term is to be found out. Now, how would you do that? You would first need to figure out what is the formula, or on what basis the series is all set up. And once you'd be able to figure that out, it will be very, very easy to figure out either the missing pattern or the missing number, or to find out the next pattern or the next number. So those are the 2 bullet points which set our objectives very, very clear. And based on these, we'll be solving some of the questions in basic level and some of the questions in the advanced level. So here we start with our first question. So all of you who are able to answer these questions by themselves, please do comment in the comment section below. Please do give your answers along with the reasoning, so that we see that you're answering it correctly. Or for those of you who would want to learn it for the first time, so here we go. It says, what is the missing letter in the series? So what we see is a set of 5 cars. Each car has got an alphabet written on it. So we have P, R, T, and then we have a question mark, and then we have X. So we need to find out what comes in this place of question mark. So let's see the options. So these are some options, and now we'll start solving this problem. So we start with the first car, in which we have P. So alphabetically, the alphabetical series that we have learned. After P comes Q, which has been skipped. Then we have R, P, Q, R. Then next comes S, which has been skipped. Then comes T. So then comes U, which would be skipped again, because so far what we have seen is the next alphabet has been skipped. The next letter has been skipped. So we take P, Q being skipped, we take R, S being skipped, we take T, U being skipped, we will take V, and W being skipped, we take X. So very clearly what we have understood is the letter that comes in the question mark in the missing place is nothing but option B, which is B. So I hope all of you are clear with this concept and this question. If you have any queries, please do put it in the comment section so that we can resolve your queries and answer to them. Moving on to the next question. It says, find the missing numbers to complete the given number series. So the previous one was an alphabetical series that you saw. Here it's a numerical series, wherein you would see that in the middle there are 2 question marks, which are the missing terms, and those we need to find out. So it's 16, 25, 36, a question mark, another question mark, 81, and 100. So then we see our options, and here we'll start solving it. So what we see is 16 can also be written as 4 times 4. Then 25 can be written as 5 times 5. Then 36 can be written as 6 times 6. We have a blank, that is a question mark, another blank, and then we have 81, which is 9 times 9, and then we have 100, which can be written as 10 times 10. So what do we see here is that these are all consecutive numbers, 4, 5, 6. Now what is consecutive numbers? What are consecutive numbers? Numbers which come right one after the other are called as consecutive numbers. So after 4 we have 5, we have 6, we could probably have 7, then 8, and clearly we see that here is 9 and 10. So that rightly fits into our series because they all go in sequence, that is of being consecutive numbers, that is numbers which come one after the other. So here it would be 7 times 7 and here it would be 8 times 8. Now 7 times 7 is nothing but 49 and 8 times 8 is nothing but 64. So the missing numbers in our given series are 49 and 64. So the correct answer to this question becomes option A. So I hope you all are clear with this question as well. Moving on to the next question. Okay, so again what we have to do is find the missing number here. We see that there are 4 boxes and along each side, that is on either side of the boxes, we see that there are 2 numbers. In the 4th box, there is a question mark. That means that is the one which is missing and we need to find that one out. We'll see our options here. So what we see is, let's figure out like on what basis is this whole series based on what thing. So these 2 numbers which are on the either side of this box are 125 and 9. So there are different mathematical operators that we have. That is addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, which can be applied on these 2 numbers to probably get the number in the box which is at the center. So 125 plus 9 would definitely not give us a 4-digit number. Subtraction will also not give us a 4-digit number, and so will division. That is, these 3 operators, if applied on these 2 numbers, 125 and 9 would not lead to a 4-digit number. So the only operator that we are left with is the multiplication. So let's see. 125 times 9, if we do we get 1125 or not? So 9 5s are 45, 5, 4 carried over, 9 2s are 18, 18 plus 4 is 22, so 2 carry forward, 9 1s are 9 plus 2 is 11. So yes, we do get the same number which is in the middle. So the rule here is that the numbers which are on the either side of the box get multiplied to give you the number inside the box. You can also check by multiplying 9 and 53, which would give you 477. So going by that order, all we need to do is we need to multiply 11 and 103. So we'll do that here. 103 shall get multiplied with 11. So we get 103 here and 103 here. Let's add that up. So 3, 3, 1, 1. 1133 is the correct answer to this question, which is option C. So with this, we will move on to the next question. Okay, so we see some more set of numbers along with, a triangular sort of a pattern with circles embedded in it. So that looks interesting. It says, spot the incorrect option. So we have here 4 options, amongst which one is the incorrect one. Now, how is one incorrect? That is, 3 of them would be based on the same rule, same formula, whereas one of them would not be following that. And we need to figure out which one is that. So we'll start with the first one. So as we see that there are 2 numbers in blue circle, that is 45 and 27. And the other one is in the orange circle, which is 18. So we need to figure out what operator between these 2 numbers in blue circles would lead us to 18. Now adding 45 and 27 would lead to a larger number than 18. Multiplication definitely would lead to a much more larger number. Division would lead us to a very small number. So this is how we can rule it out. This is how we can rule out which operators will not work for us in the given series. So what here would work is subtraction. If we subtract 45, like 45 minus 27 if we do, we would get the answer as 18. Now if we do the subtraction of 63 and 37, so basically what we need to do is 63 and 37, we need to subtract this. So here we get 13, here we get a 5. So 13 minus 7 is basically 6, 5 minus 3 is 2. So we should be getting the answer as 26. Let's see in the option C, we have 54 and 25. These need to get subtracted. We borrow, so 14 minus 5 is basically 9, and this becomes 4 because 1 was borrowed from here. So 4 minus 2 is basically 2. So 29, yes, it gives us the same number. Going to the last option, we have 53 and 35. So we need to subtract these. This becomes 13 and this becomes 4 here. We get 8 and 1. So yes, it also gives us 18. So in these three options, subtracting the numbers in the blue circles gave us the number in the orange circle, whereas only in option B that did not happen. Because when we subtracted 37 from 63, we got the answer as 26, but the number which is given here is 25. So the one which is incorrect is option B. Now, as you all would see that apart from logical thinking and trying to figure out the answer in the shortest way possible, also what children need to be really very thorough with is like 2-digit multiplication, 2-digit division, addition, subtraction. All of these things are fundamental concepts which they should be really very thorough with, so that after they figure out the rule or the concept or the formula on which the whole series is based on, they're able to do these calculations, these mathematical calculations, so that after figuring out everything, they should not go wrong in this. So with this, I hope you all are clear with this question. We'll move forward to the next question. So we've already seen that the incorrect option was option B. Okay, now here is a pattern which has got one of its part missing, and we need to figure out which is that missing pattern. So we'll take the options first. Let's see the options. Now, in my opinion, the easiest way of doing such questions is you just try to trace out or go by the pattern which is given in the three parts. So as I see, this curve would get joined. I can join this box. As there were lines like these, like slanting lines, I will have one line like this. And then towards the bottom corner, there were two circles on the either side of the line which I drew. So like this. Now all you need to figure out is which of the following options does really fit into the same thing which you have drawn here. So if I would see, this doesn't work because this curved part is coming from the other end. And so with this, because it starts from the center and goes down like this, so it doesn't work this one as well. And this also doesn't work. So the only one which is the right answer and also which is pretty much matching exactly to what we draw here is option A. So that is the right answer to our question, which is option A. So it's a very easy way of doing it. So moving forward to the next question. So we see a lot of fruits here. We see apple, strawberry, orange, and pineapple. So it's a fruity series that you see here. It says which figure comes next in the given figure or pattern. So we'll see the options. So these are the the four options that we have here, each having two fruits. So in the middle of the series, we see that all the four fruits have been covered. That is, it starts with apple, strawberry, orange, and pineapple. So this is the sequence that it follows. So here we start with apple again, strawberry, orange. So definitely what would come here is the pineapple. I would just write pineapple here. Then again the same thing repeats itself. We start with apple again, strawberry, orange, pineapple. And then it needs to start again, over again. So what comes here is apple. So the two missing fruits that we have in our series are pineapple and apple. In the same sequence, you need to choose your option. So the correct answer to this question would be option B, which says pineapple and then an apple. Moving forward to our next question. And here we see a lot of smileys in the grid here. So in the first row of the grid, we see that all the three smileys are present, whereas in the second two rows of the grid, we see that one of them is missing. That is, they've been replaced with the alphabets P and Q. And we need to know what comes in place of P and Q respectively. So these are our options. So basically this grid is formed of only three types of smileys. One which is in the shape of a diamond, the other which is in the shape of a star, and the third one which is in the shape of a circle. So in the second row, if we see that clearly the one which is missing is the diamond shaped one. So that's exactly what comes here. And same goes for the third row, because here as well what is missing is the smiley which is in the diamond shape. So from the given 4 options that we have here, we can clearly see that the correct answer to this question becomes option C. So this is how you can make the questions really very easy for you. All you need to do is to understand the bottom line on which the whole series or the pattern is based on. And once you're able to figure that out, it will become really very easy to answer any question based on that. With this, we'll be moving forward to our next question. And these are some advanced level questions which will really be engaging you, and you would find it really very interesting. And they are a bit on a trickier side as compared to the basic questions that we were working so far on. So here it says, study the patterns 1 and 2, probably 3 as well, and using the same pattern, tell the number of balls in pattern 6. So we see that there are 3 patterns here, pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3. They are following some same fashion, which we need to figure out. Once we figure that out, we need to figure out what is the number of balls that will be there in pattern 6. So we'll see the options. It says 16, 10, 14, and 19. So basically, we'll start with the first pattern. There was just 1 ball. In pattern 2, we see that the balls have increased by 3. That is, 3 more balls have been added. So I can say pattern 2 is 1 plus 3. Then in the third pattern, we see that there are 3 more balls which have got added as compared to pattern 2. So here we had 4, so it becomes 4 plus 3. So in every next pattern, the number of balls keep increasing by 3. That is, you just need to keep adding 3. So we can write here that P3 had a total of 7 balls. So P4 will have 3 more, that is 7 plus 3, which is 10. Pattern 5 will have 3 more than pattern 4, that is 10 plus 3, which is 13. So pattern 6 will then have 3 more balls than the pattern 5. So you just need to add 3 to 13, and that would give you the answer as 16. So the correct answer to this question clearly becomes option A. That is, there are a total of 16 balls in pattern 6. And how did we figure that out? What we saw is that in each pattern, the number of balls keep increasing by 3. So all you need to do is keep adding 3 to the next pattern to arrive at the desired pattern. Here it is pattern 6, it could be anything else. It could be pattern 5, pattern 7. All you need to do based on this question is you just keep adding 3 and you arrive at your answer. With this, we'll be moving on to our next advanced level question. And here it says, we have a spiral series. It's just the shape which is different, but it's a numerical series. Find the missing numbers if a certain rule is followed in the figure. Okay. So what we have here is 7, 21, 35, then there is a question mark, that is the missing one, 63, and another question mark, which is the missing one. So we need to find these missing ones out. Now, what you need to do is first look at these 4 numbers which are given, that is 7, 21, 35, and 63, and observe how they are related to each other. So the very primary observation that I can make is these are all the multiples of 7. So we'll keep writing it here. 7 times 1 gives us 7. Then 7 times 3 gives us 21. 7 times 5 gives us 35. And then 7 times 9 gives us 63. So what do we see here is that after the multiplier 1, we skipped the multiplier 2. That is, we skipped, I'll just write it here like this. So 7 times 2 was skipped and we went on to 7 times 3. 7 times 4 was missed and we went on to 7 times 5. So then 7 times 6 should be mixed and then we should go on to 7 times 7. And then we should skip 7 times 8 and clearly comes 7 times 9. Then we should skip 7 times 10 and we should go on to the next multiplier, which is 7 times 11. So the ones which are missing are these, that is 7 times 7 and 7 times 11. So 7 times 7 is nothing but 49 and 7 times 11 is nothing but 77. So we need to see which of the following options does exactly give us these two numbers. So we see that option A gives us the same set of numbers, that is 49 and 77, and that's how we arrive at the correct answer for this question. So it was a bit tricky, but all you need to have is observational powers. Observe that all the numbers were the multiples of 7, and then what we observed that, we were skipping the next multiplier and we're going on to the next one. That is, we skipped 2, we went on to 3, we skipped 4, we went on to 5, and like that. By that, we were able to figure out the missing terms in the given series. So with this, we have covered up all the questions in our basic level as well as all the questions in our advanced level. So I hope you all really found this masterclass really very helpful. And with this, we'll be continuing, with different set of other topics going forward in our masterclasses. So as we all saw in today's masterclass, how logical reasoning inculcates the ability to think logically in a child, they start thinking in an innovative manner. They also strive to get to the answer in the shortest possible way. And this is exactly how a student gets trained by a Cuemath expert, and all of it is being provided in Olympiad masterclasses by Cuemath. So with this, I would like to introduce the TUCO registration forms. Every student who wishes to take up the real-time Olympiad examination by Cuemath, please go ahead and click on the link given in the description box below. The registration amount for TUCO is Rs 200 only, and the benefits that you get on registering for TUCO is that you get a complete course curriculum to prepare for it, which is worth Rs 5,000. So every time we have a masterclass, an Olympiad masterclass as we had today, which is scheduled, you can join us there and then later can work on extensive sheets on the same topic through the course curriculum provided when you register for TUCO. So make sure you do not delay and register yourself to get the most out of the curriculum worth Rs 5,000 just for Rs 200. And with this, we'll be winding up today's